Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to sit down with you and film a quick weight loss update and like how I've done it type video. This past week I have hit the milestone of 50 pounds lost. Is actually just a little bit over 50 pounds. And that is a really exciting milestone for me because I don't think I've ever lost this much and kept it up for this long since I've started trying to lose weight when I was a teenager. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got here, what I've done, how I'm gonna progress in the future, and how I'm just gonna keep going. I do have some notes, so I might be looking down just because I don't wanna miss anything. I started off this weight loss journey at like 320-ish pounds. I had tried to lose weight a lot of times, but different things would come up and I'd give up or I'd get frustrated. But this time I felt like it was a little bit different because I'm over 30 now. I'm childless and I want to have children. And I just kind of felt like it was time for me to take it seriously again and to really put forth a little bit of effort and stick with it. Also, someone that I work with, that I'm close with, has also been on a weight loss journey, and her losing weight and keeping up with it really inspired me to keep up with it as well. It's always easier when someone in your life is going through it with you because you can share, you can tell stories, you can share tips and recipes, and you have this great online community that I do take part in. But on the flip of it, just having somebody close, nearby, someone that you talk to on a regular basis really helps if they're going through this, especially when someone at home isn't. So for example, my husband is not going through a weight loss journey and is still drinking sodas and eating junk and eating Whataburger at night and things like that. And so having somebody to kind of talk about it with and not feel like, you know, you're just talking to all your skinny friends about it and they don't care, you know, they get it, and it really helps just keep up. So this is my third official time on MyFitnessPal. I have used MyFitnessPal in the past and it has worked each time, but at some point I have given up and quit logging and gained weight back. And usually I don't start again until I reach that max weight that I seem to get at, which is 320. And then I'll stay there for a while and then I'll decide that I need to do something about it. So hopefully this time's different. You know, you never know until you get into the future. But I've already overcome several milestones and several traumas this time around, which makes me believe that this time will be different. And I just want to talk about those with you guys. This time around, it's been different. Things have happened and I've managed to either eat at maintenance and not, you know, gain a bunch of weight, or take a small break from logging, depending upon what's going on. But I want to talk to you about those traumas that have happened. The first thing is that I got pregnant. I got pregnant last year, and you know, I started experiencing those pregnancy symptoms of hunger all the time, hunger. And so I decided, you know, while I didn't feel like it was right to continue to lose weight, although if I did lose weight, that'd be fine, and my doctor said that they would have been fine with that, I was still so hungry. So I bumped up my calories to maintenance and continued to log because I knew I needed to stay accountable, and if I lost weight, great, but I'm not gonna actively eat at a huge deficit to try to lose weight because I just was so hungry. And I had very specific cravings at some times. So I needed to be able to partake in those. And also we were coming into the holidays. Christmas was right around the corner, and coming into the office were candies and cookies and cakes and deliciousness stuff, holiday dinners and get-togethers with friends and things like that. And so I definitely needed to eat at maintenance during that time too. And I did splurge more during this time. There were days that I was over maintenance, but then I would be at maintenance or lower the rest of the time. just because it's the holidays and you have to partake in the holidays. But the thing is that I didn't give up. I didn't just say, F it, you know, it's the holidays. I'm gonna eat whatever I wanna eat when I wanna eat it. Guys, I made cookies. Okay, so I made cookies. I made a lot of cookies. And for me, I love making cookies, but what I love most is cleaning the batter bowl. I love raw cookie dough, homemade raw cookie dough. And it was tough, guys. It was so tough, but I didn't eat from that cookie bowl. I didn't taste test the cookies. I let my husband do that, and I might have had a small piece, but normally I would have gorged myself on homemade cookies, and I would have made a batch for just me and my husband. And I did make him some, but I didn't want to fill the house with all of these cookies. So I exhibited self-control. The last thing that happened during this time is that I had a miscarriage. I miscarried the last week in December, and if you haven't seen that video with me talking about what happened, I'll link it somewhere up here. But I had a miscarriage, and I did take a break from vlogging at this point. My mental health needed to take a break. I needed to not think about it. I needed to eat what I wanted to eat. But I gave myself a set of time because I'm not the type of person that can sit and sulk on things for a long time. I needed to give myself some time to wallow, to pity, to cry, to eat my feelings, and then I needed to get back on it. So I predetermined a length of time that I found acceptable. It was about a week for me to do what I need to do to make myself feel better. And after that week, I started on planning mode for what my next steps are with my miscarriage. And I got back on my calorie counting because it's that important. You know, one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is a lot of times we give up. We are counting our calories, we're doing MyFitnessPal, and we give up. And we give up for a week, and then that turns into another week, and then that turns into a month. And then 6 months later, and 60 pounds, you know, we have to start over again, and that's so defeating. So one of the promises that I made to myself this time around is if I had a bad day, tomorrow will be a better day. I'm gonna log my bad day every time. If I have a bad day and I go and drink 10 margaritas, I'm gonna log those 10 margaritas. I'm gonna be accountable for those 10 margaritas, and then tomorrow I'm gonna move on. And I'm gonna pick back up, I'm gonna make myself feel good, I'm gonna make good choices, and I'm going to move on. So I think that's one of the key things. Like nobody's perfect in their eating. And you're gonna have days where you overdo it, or you get into a situation and you just can't help it, or you need to go to a work dinner and you can't help what's offered, and you're hungry and you don't want to just have this little itty bitty bit of that delicious whatever that somebody made. It happens, but the key is to not let that day define you, and you're not a failure. Tomorrow you pick back up and you log what you just ate. You be accountable for that. You can't forget it. You have to be accountable and log it and move on. So that was probably my first piece of advice that I should have prefaced by saying, hey, I got some advice for you if you want to do it. That one, be accountable, log it and move on. My next thing is to be not to eliminate foods. So a lot of times I hear people say, well, I'm going to give up carbs starting on Monday. I'm going to be keto starting on Monday. I'm going to give up meat starting on Monday. I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to give up all of these things. I'm going to give up all sweets. I'm going to give up all sugar. I'm going to give up my coffee. I'm going to give up my creamer. No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You can lose weight enjoying all the things that you already do. The key is moderation. The key is knowledge. The key is accountability for what you are putting in your mouth, and not focusing on giving things up, but finding ways to make them fit in. And I'm going to give a couple of examples of that. Every night I have about 200 calories worth of chocolate. I lay in my bed upstairs and I eat 200 calories of some type of chocolate. Now I try to make that dark chocolate because dark chocolate's better, and I try to make it over 70%. But sometimes it's Hershey bars. Sometimes it's Twix bars. Sometimes it's white chocolate, which is terrible because it's nothing but fat. But I have about 200 calories worth of chocolate every single night, no matter what. Even when I traveled for work, I carried chocolate with me. Yes, I did, because that is that important to my mental health, and it puts me to bed. It's like me saying, Lindsey, you're done eating. It's time for bed. Go to bed. And I have my chocolate. I prefer Ghirardelli, but I will also eat Hershey's. I will also eat Reese's. I will also eat whatever. At Easter time, I crave the Cadbury little eggs, the little itty bitties. I give myself chocolate. You do not have to give things up to lose weight. Other things I give myself, my coffee creamer. My coffee creamer is a non-negotiable. I allot my calories for my coffee creamer. Now, something I've done is make sure that I only have the serving size that I'm saying I'm having. I measure out my coffee creamer. I use a scale, and that is probably the easiest way to do it. And I make sure that I'm accounting for what I'm having. And in turn, I've cut out a little bit of my coffee creamer. I found that I was drinking mostly creamer with some coffee. And so I now have mostly coffee with some creamer. And so that is something you don't have to give up. The next thing is carbs. I love carbs. I love pasta. I love rice. I love Mexican food. I love tortilla. I live in San Antonio. Do you know how hard it is to avoid tortilla? Like, you just can't. You have to eat them. And so I eat tortilla. I eat sausage. I eat bacon. I make pancakes almost weekly because my husband enjoys my pancakes. And I eat them. I fit them into my day because you don't have to give up anything. Now, I will say some things are more worth it than others. If I have the option between a Little Debbie snack or a homemade cupcake, I'm gonna choose the cupcake. I'm not gonna have both. And that's, something to think about. Now, if they both fit in my day and I want both, I'm gonna have both. But most of the time, I choose the best of all the options, and I have that. Also, I get offered a donut almost every morning. There's somebody in the office that has donuts, and they offer me a donut, and I always say no. Why? Because they're from Dunkin' Donuts. It's not worth it to me to eat a Dunkin' Donut. Now, if they had Krispy Kreme donuts, I might say yes every once in a while. But it's Dunkin', and so I don't, that's not that tempting to me. My next tip is to take time off for all the things that happen in your life. There are times when you need to take a little bit of time off, whether that be for vacation, for work. Maybe your work schedule is just crazy. Maybe it's the holidays and you want to spend 2 or 3 days with your family enjoying the holidays. Take time off if you need to, but the key here is to plan it. Plan your time off like you would plan your time off from work. If you're going to take time off from counting your calories or whatever, then make sure it's planned and controlled. If it's for vacation, then it's just for vacation. The second that you land back in your hometown, you log your food. And up to the point that you take off, you log that food. It's important to take that time off for your mental health, but it's also important to hop right back on and to have a plan for hopping right back on. Don't come home and stop at Whataburger on your way to the house. No, come home and make yourself some dinner. My next tip is to weigh your foods. Okay, guys, my number one best friend forever that I cannot live without is my food scale. I got this one from Walmart. It's doesn't even have a brand name. It just says electronic kitchen scale. It's a little sticky. I probably should have wiped it down. That's disgusting, actually. Okay. Anyways, so kitchen scale. I prefer a digital one, but my first one that I ever used was a just really cheap one that cost me $5. This is going to help you make sure that what you're eating is truly what you're eating. And I'm just going to give a couple of examples of foods that we often misjudge. So for me, if I weigh out my chips, I actually get more than I allow myself to eat if I count them out. Chips, Cheetos, things like that, you get more. But things like peanut butter, so even if you were to take a tablespoon, like a tablespoon, like a cooking tablespoon, and dip it into the peanut butter, that is still gonna be more peanut butter than what you're supposed to have according to weight. A tablespoon of peanut butter is not a lot, and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which is about 200 calories, is tiny. So definitely weigh your peanut butter. Also, get to know your fruit sizes. I'm not saying weigh every piece of fruit that you eat, because let's face it, fruit didn't make anybody fat. And veggies too. Veggies never made anybody fat. But get to know how much of it you can eat, because for fruit and vegetable, I was severely overestimating my calories and I could have more. And so a banana, apples, things like that, you weigh out so that you can see what an actual 100 calorie serving of fruit looks like for the different types of fruits that you eat and vegetables. Meat, weigh out your meat. I was underestimating my amount of meat that I eat. So they say like a deck of carbs is a serving size, but if you weigh that out, it's gonna look a little bit different. So weigh your meat pre-cooking. That'll really help you figure out how much you can eat. So weighing food, cereal is huge. Liquids is huge. I was over drinking if I was having something with calories in it, like milk or something like that. I was over drinking. By weighing it out, I figured out exactly how much 8 fluid ounces is. I even weigh out my wine when I drink wine. I want to know exactly how much, because it's so easy to eyeball what you're eating. So weighing your food out is key. Even once you hit your goal and you maintain, people still weigh out their food and they still log their food, because it's so easy to slip back into your old habits. My next thing is to make your own food. I like to eat out. My husband likes to eat out. We like to explore new restaurants. It's one of our favorite things to do together. But making your food at home is the only way you will know exactly what's in it and how many calories is in it. Even if you're eating things that are pre-bagged, like from the grocery store that you just heat up, it's better than eating out where they can slip in things that you had no idea. Especially here in San Antonio, we have a lot of mom and pop restaurants that serve tacos and things like that. And you never know what the tortilla is made with. You never know how they cooked it. And getting a calorie count is near about impossible. And guesstimating correctly is hard too. Even when you think you're ordering wisely from the menu, sometimes once you get the meal, you see that you didn't. The other day, we went to Las Palapas, which is a Mexican restaurant here. And I got the beef fajitas, and there you can substitute your rice and beans for veggies. And so I did that, thinking that that would be the healthier option. And I took my first bite of veggies and realized they were covered in butter, just drenched in butter. And they were delicious, but that kind of defeat the purpose of having the veggies. I thought I was making the best decision by getting a beef fajita plus the veggies, but the whole thing was slathered in butter. And so that wasn't the best decision. So cook at home as much as possible. Eat food that you prepare. And then also when you do prepare food at home, get used to creating a recipe in MyFitnessPal so that you can see exactly how many calories it is that you're eating, and you can adjust on the fly. So if your recipe is starting to get on up there and you normally would have cooked this recipe in olive oil, maybe you'll substitute your olive oil for olive oil spray so that you don't get more calories. I kind of touched on this before, but I just want to touch on logging even your bad days. So there are days where we mess up, or where we have plans to do something and we overdo it. Where I was gonna have one skinny margarita and I had 5 margaritas, regular margaritas. So I log that. I put it in MyFitnessPal. I account for it the best that I can. And there are some days that I've just put one entry and it's basically me saying I blew it for like 5,000 calories. Because I know that I overdid it and I can't get that back, but I still want to account for that day. So log even your bad days. And then the last thing I want to touch on is the reward yourself. When you hit a milestone or when you see a difference in your clothes, don't make yourself keep wearing those big baggy clothes. Go pick up a couple of new pieces if you can to kind of make yourself feel like you've lost the weight, because it's hard to feel like you've lost weight when you are wearing the same clothes, when your clothes are getting big, because it feels heavy on your body. It doesn't look good. You're not seeing the progress. And so go buy yourself a couple of things. I just lost the 50 pounds and I noticed that all of my dresses were feeling too big. And so I went over to Old Navy and I picked up a few new dresses. I got them on sale for $15. If you are the type to like to thrift, go hit up your thrift store. Go to Walmart, buy yourself a new jean jacket for $15. Do anything that you can do to reward yourself, but not with food. Never reward yourself with food. That is getting back into those bad habits, but reward yourself with new clothes or something for your home or a new food scale or a food item that you hadn't. No, don't reward yourself with food. I take it back. But reward yourself. Give yourself credit for what you've done and what you have accomplished. So those are my major tips for my weight loss. Those are the things that I've done so far. I do need to get my butt back into the gym. That is something that I have failed to do in the past couple of months since the holidays really. And I need to get myself back into the gym. So once I feel 100% better, I'm going to get right back into working out more regularly, because I did see an increase in my weight dropping when I was working out. But I will say, you do not have to work out to lose weight. You don't have to. It's still coming off. It's a little bit slower, but it's still coming off. But slow and steady wins the race, guys. I cannot stress that enough. These people that drop this weight so quickly doing keto, I've seen it. They do keto, they drop weight quickly, but the second keto goes away, the second that they're not doing keto, they gain that weight back. They get out of ketosis and they start feeling like crap. So slow and steady wins the race. Lifetime accountability is what will get you far, and making sure that you stick with it. Hold yourself accountable, do the right thing, eat the good foods, live your life, and be accountable for it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. More videos on weight loss coming up, because that is my life right now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.